Okay, folks, so welcome to your 8C video notes. That's C as in championship. Okay, Tom Brady and the Patriots have 4 Super Bowl championships. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about the historical turning points of Islam. Okay, so what are some of the key events in the history of the religion, and what are some key events in kind of these Islamic empires that we've been studying over the last couple of videos. So, let's go into it. Okay, so following Muhammad's death, a series of caliphs or successors control what remains of the Muslim empire. So this word caliph, it's kind of like a word for, it's similar to king, but it doesn't really mean the same thing. It's just kind of basically seen as a successor to Muhammad as far as who controls the Muslim empire. So if you're the caliph, you're kind of the person in charge of that Muslim empire. Now, the first 4 caliphs are going to be known as rightly guided. Okay, so they are rightly guided caliphs because they are personally close with Muhammad, or they're actually like physically related to him. So the first 4 caliphs are all kind of direct descendants of Muhammad, or at least kind of directly very close to him. So these 4 caliphs are going to conquer Southwest Asia, parts of North Africa. They're going to spread the religion just like we talked about in the 8B video. Again, just like we talked about in the last video, if you were Jewish or Christian, typically you were very much tolerated, allowed to believe in your own religion as long as you didn't kind of interfere in anything or cause any trouble. So in addition to that, many of the people they conquered were also converted to Islam. In the vast majority of the cases, this was done peacefully in a tolerant manner. So as we can see here, again, we've seen this map a couple times, but it is important to kind of understand the geography here. So Muhammad and his successors are eventually going to spread the religion all different ways, all throughout the Middle East. All into northern Africa, and the way this is done is through trade routes and basically the spread of ideas. So Ali is kind of that 4th rightly guided caliph that we talked about. His name is Ali, and after he dies, there's kind of a power struggle, and what ends up happening is the Umayyad dynasty seizes power, and they kind of start developing the Muslim empire. So, I know I'm probably not pronouncing Umayyad right, but I'm going to mess it up. We're just going to go with it. So, they seize power, and some people don't accept their rule because the rulers of the Umayyad Caliphate are not directly related to Muhammad. So, what we get here is the split between the Shiites and the Sunnis. You might see Shia, you might see Shiite. It means basically the same thing. So, if you were a Shiite or Shia, you thought that the descendants of Muhammad have to be related to Muhammad. So if you are a Sunni, you think anyone who's kind of has the capability to rule and will do it the right way should go ahead and do it. So Shiites, only descendants of Muhammad. Sunnis, kind of anyone can rule, in particular the Umayyads. So in your notes, it does say kind of what ways are Sunni and Shia similar and what ways are they different. So we want to get you thinking on these kind of critical thinking questions. I know, in particular, my class doesn't do a good job of filling these out at home. So make sure you put something in there for that question, number 1 there. And then make sure you also answer number 2. How is this similar to an event we've already talked about? So we talked about the split between the Roman Catholic Church, or the split between the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church, kind of that split of Christianity. Now we see a similar kind of split of Islam between Sunni and Shia. So that might be a good thing to put down for that part. And then we're going to kind of get a little bit more in depth on the Sunni and Shia split. So the Sunnis believe that the first 4 caliphs were rightly guided. They believe that rulers should follow Muhammad's example, but they don't necessarily believe that those leaders should be directly descendants of Muhammad. Okay, if you're a Shia, you believe that all Muslim rulers should be descended from Muhammad, and you don't recognize kind of the authority of this Sunnah, which is basically Muhammad's example. Okay, so the Sunnis believe that as long as you're following Muhammad's example, you're fine. Okay, and that's key. But the Shias believe you have to be a direct descendant of Muhammad. So in today's society, most Muslims are Sunni. Okay, vast majority. Now, that being said, obviously this is kind of a broad generalization. Okay, there's different aspects of it. It's complicated, just like any religion. Okay, there's aspects of it that we're not going to go over. This is just kind of a basic overview. So as the empire expands under the Umayyads, okay, it's going to grow into North Africa. Okay, obviously North Africa down here, the Iberian Peninsula, and Central Asia. So this is the Iberian Peninsula, also known as Spain. Okay, the expansion is going to be stopped, okay, by a group called the Franks, who we're going to study, I believe, next unit, and it's called the Battle of Tours. So that kind of happens right about here on the map, and it's a major turning point in the history of Western civilization because it's one of these big what-if scenarios. What if the Islamic Empire had defeated the Franks and kept expanding into Europe? How would that have changed the world? So historians kind of like to play with that idea. And then to unify the empire, the Umayyads developed a bureaucracy, okay, common currency, and Arabic as a language. This is all stuff we've seen before, folks. Okay, bureaucracy means, okay, basically just government workers. Okay, so if you're a government worker, it's efficient. Okay, they have a streamlined system. They use their own currency for money. And then Arabic is key to kind of spread ideas. So around 750, the Umayyads kind of go away, and we start seeing an Abbasid Caliphate. Okay, this is just kind of one of these things we have to know. They're going to build a large standing army, and they're going to promote a policy of inclusions to all Muslims, whether that's Sunni or Shia, and encouraging all Christians and Jews to be integrated as well, serving in the government. Okay. Later on, the capital will be moved from Damascus to Baghdad. Okay, so Baghdad is located in modern-day Iraq. Okay, if we watch the news at all, we probably should know that. And it's going to become the center of the Arab world and kind of a big center of the Muslim world as well. So the caliphate ends, unfortunately for them, at the hands of the Mongols, who are a very interesting group we're going to study later in the year, but the Mongols are kind of a nomadic group that kind of invades. They take over a huge chunk of territory. They're brutal. They're vicious. And one thing they do is invade Baghdad. In 1258, they take it over, and they kind of eliminate the final vestiges of that Islamic empire there. All right, so that's your 8C notes. That's Mr. Nolan riding a horse. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Cue the cheesy outro music.